Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new year. Welcome in 2023, everyone. The DBDLeague team is welcoming you to a new year and a new event. The Winter Circuit is about to start. We have this exclusive game for you here between Cynic and SUF to claim a spot in the main event, and it has been decided in the picks and bans that Hillbilly will open this event on the gas, have a new balance and updated rules. So let's see how Hillbilly is performing on this relatively large map. And the first chase is not paying out for the killer here. It is going to be a little bit of time loss, but he does catch a survivor next to the open at the shack, but unfortunately not able to get it down here before the shack pallet. But the window is reached as well. The low-pro chain's not leading into the first hit. Bamboozle is coming in clutch here, forces the survivor over towards the mid-section, but there is enough to work with here for the survivors, so they are staying in a safe spot. So good day, welcome into you as well. What do you think about this first minute in this trial here?
I think Yokotics really needs to try and get their down as fast as possible. Lesty will take that M1, but in the meantime, we saw Ultra working on Generator. Angels and Nev have also not been found just yet, meaning Yokotics is going to be in a tricky situation. He's not able to convert this into a down. Ooh, and almost gets that chainsaw, but Lesty barely able to avoid it and makes that pallet. However, Yokotics would be able to go right around, and I don't think they have enough space to make it to that next pallet without a body block, but ooh, Yokotics took that a little wide, and now Lesty will actually be able to make not only this safe pallet in here, but also a head-on play by another survivor as he waits outside of that, baiting Yokotics ever closer. Now the chase will continue even longer. Lesty doing a great job here of allowing his teammates to just work on those generators and able to find another pallet as well. Yokotics needs this down, and he needs it now. Lesty chaining it again. There's one going. I would believe that we're going to see a second one here soon, as Ultra and Nev are also going to be able to be working on those generators, but Lesty will finally go down. Yokotics getting this down nearby where another survivor was as well. He could potentially go for him, but it seems like he's just going to go for that pickup. In the meantime, we have to take a look at his build. He has that bamboozle in those chases fast, but as we saw, Lesty is going to be able to use those pallets just the same, and that pain resonance we saw worked on Nev right there to stop that generator from completing. Yokotics, however, seems to be also wanting to play around the in-game with that Noed save will come through instantly, and Yokotics is going to immediately try to return back there. No, instead going towards this generator where Nev was working out, trying to find out where that survivor is and get rid of these safe pallets in this area. However, this is going to be a big time waste if Yokotics isn't able to get into another chase very fast. He finds someone, however, again, at the main building, still has a lot of resources to be worked with. The firecracker go down to try and avoid the perfect pathing from Yokotics, but still, Nev should be able to make either a pallet or the window. The pallet, ooh, the window's still blocked from that bamboozle, passing over the pallet. Ooh, and Yokotics goes for the curve, but barely misses, meaning Nev is going to be a little bit, zoned here in this area, but the bump into the truck right there is going to be so huge for Nev, able to get away now. However, should be in a relative dead zone. Ooh, but Yokotics didn't break this one pallet, meaning even more distance. Ooh, but almost a saw as well. Now they're going to be zoned towards the middle, and Nev doesn't have a lot to work with.
Yeah, this is going to be a longer run here. You have this pallet here. It's definitely going to be an injury beforehand, but the resources are slowly leaving the trial here. You have to be quick on the generator. Cynic so far has proven that, and this swing is not going to come through here. An absolute fantastic chase by Nev and the other survivors of Cynic as well. Maybe a head-on is being prepared as well now, where he's heading over to this Talia. It's going to be the TNL, and just in time, there's going to be the down second hook stage in exchange for 2 generators so far. That wasn't the best start as a Hillbilly to look as, and we do see there's one generator ready to go. A second one is 85%, and even the last generator is already worked on by the survivors here. So they are making it quick, and they have to pressure down onto the killer here. We have seen a lot of curves, we have seen a lot of bumps here, potentially also the pressure rising on the shoulders of the killer, especially with 2 generators now popping off in the distance there. 4 generators completed, just 2 hook stages so far. Yes, you have a fresh hook. That's not too bad here in this situation. You have your no one escapes death, you mentioned. You have something in the back pocket for the end game, but all this is not how you want to start the first trial of your qualifier match. It's all or nothing, and there's the next survivor being spotted. Unfortunately, a bump, but that was really close to a snipe, and you do have information now that one survivor is kind of pinpointed in the corner there, not able to do a lot for the team. A second one is rotating in off the shack, so it's maximum one survivor working on the generators right now, and if you are able to keep these survivors busy around the rope, you definitely have a little bit of extra time before generator number 5 is coming in clutch. It's going to be this filler pallet for our UE. Second stage in the distance, 2 additional points for our killer here. Nice stun, however, by Angels. A very, very good mix between greeting the pallet and getting the most out of it, and then eventually pulling it, goes back, and there's a nice BT by Nev protecting his teammate. They are now heading towards the midsection, and we will see that he is sticking to this survivor here, so potentially forcing the tunnel out. Good day. I don't know if they have the time for that.
Well, that's really the question. You know, we saw Lusty go in for the save, and they are also the one who started working on that last generator. So as long as another survivor hasn't been working on that generator to the left of Yokotix right now, in that far-off area away from the hook, then Yokotix potentially does still have some time. The Bloodlust is picking up. The Bamboozle will go through. Nev doesn't have a lot to work with, but that's the last generator. They were working on the generator, and Cynic is going to be able to complete all the generators. However, Nev will go down. The Noed will be revealed, and the question for Yokotix is now, does he go for the confirmed kill, or does he try and find someone else? No one working on this door. The question is, are they on the opposite one across the map from Yokotix right now? And it seems like 2 of them are already over there. No, all 3 are already there. That should be the 3-man escape, with Nev, the one on Death Hook as well, being the only one to potentially get killed here. That's going to be worth the least amount of points for SUF here. Yokotix had a great early game, but Lusty was just able to, you know, increase that chase time more and more. And Nev, you saw trying to get that hatch as well right there. But Lusty really being able to have that long first chase, I think, is what led to Yokotix being a bad situation in that in-game especially.
Yeah, as much as I understand that you wanted this tunnel out and force the 3v1, it has unfortunately turned out as the wrong decision here. Sometimes you have to let someone go and go for the points here. 3 survivors escaped. That was the first trial here in this qualifier match. Ladies and gentlemen, 18-10 for Cynic, and we'll be back in just a moment because it's nicely cutted by our amazing editors. Ladies and gentlemen, and the fans of the Hillbillies, we are back with potentially an ultra good performance here on the Gas Heaven after a very nice survivor game that put Cynic into 18-10 lead. It's now Ultra's responsibility to pick up on it, and I believe he caught a survivor here. At least he thinks that someone is over here. He is checking behind the tiles here. Is there someone edge map? That is usually not the place you want to hide because you would be in a very bad spot. And indeed, someone is around in the filler pallet. Ultra just barely missed them. The survivors now spreading out over the map here, trying to attack the generators as quick as possible. Ultra is catching the second survivor now, this time with scratch marks. So potentially a little bit of a better understanding where this survivor actually is. But once again, the survivor vanishing here. SUF doing a really, really good job and playing a little bit out of a ninja mind game. This is the third time
I think I'll lose this one.
Scratch someone here. Let's see if it's going to be a lost survivor again. But no, it's going to be the first chase in this jungle gym. Let's see what they can offer here. They definitely need a long first chase, since Cynic in the previous game had a very, very long chase in the mid game. So you need to work a little bit around here. Ultra trying to do that, and it's breaking the pallet, but it ends in a bump as well. The survivor has some distance now and has made its way gone back towards the midsection here, and that's going to be the next relatively safe tile here, and not a jungle gym unfortunately, but still something you can make work with. The question is, will Ultra allow them to go back towards the shack? He doesn't do so. A triple bamboozle usage on this window here. That's going to be a very, very nice down here. Good pressure for Ultra early on.
Yeah, this is a way quicker down than we saw previously in the game. However, the survivors have had a lot more time to work on these generators, so Yokotix and Lapta, I believe that's how you say it, are both going to be close to finishing those generators. Ultra might be able to interrupt one of them, but he heads to the wrong one, meaning he probably won't be able to interrupt them then this time. Actually, one will pop now, another one close on the way. Ultra going to be getting hit by the blast mine, however, a little bit of blindness on the old Billy here, as we do see, however, for his build, he's going to have some no way out stacks. Instead of opting for the no-ed, he will try to rely on his chainsaw in game and try to get as many downs as possible before the survivors are able to get out. Thanks to that, Ultra is already going to have one stack on to one of these survivors, meaning he might be trying to go either for a camp out here early in the game or spreading his pressure. And by his position, it seems like he's going to opt for that camp out. 3 survivors start on 3 separate gens. However, one of the ones that was near completion, I believe Ultra is able to push one of the survivors off of, meaning all of these are going to be new generators. All of them are going to start from 0. And that's going to put Ultra in a great spot as we're seeing the ace already hitting the second stage.
Second stage on AS is a huge one here. You can potentially tunnel this survivor out, and I don't believe we have to have a discussion this time about Ultra having time or not, because 4 generators still remaining compared to 45 seconds struggle time for this survivor here. There's going to be the survivor heading over towards the shack, and the juke is needed here to save the day. The window's blocked! Ultra blocked the window. What a nice play here from our Hillbilly. That's at least an M1 as an injury here. Not potentially the down you could have forced there, but still something on the team SUF. And now going back towards the hook. Very understandable play here. You want the survivor out of the game as quick as possible. A 3v1 on potentially 4 generators remaining is an insane position to be in as a Hillbilly, especially on a big map like the Gas, having just a few seconds. And then you have your first kill here. Yes, you lose a second generator in the distance there, potentially a third one. A nice trade-off now by SUF, but still now eliminated 1 survivor. So really good position for Ultra. You feel confident going forward from here. You just need a few more stages to achieve the result from the previous game, and you do catch the injured one here on the shack. There's the local chains as well, so the pallet won't be the safest, but they don't even make it towards the pallet. They will be down immediately, and if my eyes are not tricking me, that's going to be the basement right there as well. So that's going to be a nice hook. Both survivors not working on the generators either. He's not going for it, wants to protect this generator here and have a nice access to the other engines, but it is now going to be a really difficult spot. We see a 3-gen, nice on the other side there. Ultra will not have access to that.
No, Yukadix is nearby
judging
too.
The speed, it's going to be a difficult one, and yeah, as you mentioned, Yukadix is around here good day, so I think SUF might be in a really bad spot here.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a very bad spot to try and recover from. However, Ultra is going far away, meaning Yokotix could go in and get that save and potentially get the generator. It seems like that's exactly what they're doing. Ooh, a little bit of Guardian I see there too from one of the survivors, meaning that they're going to be able to know the location of Ultra as he comes back. No, instead, he's not going to come back. I lied. That's a Fang, not a Meg. And we're going to see the Fang in the chase next. Already getting this pallet gone. They're going to be kind of zoned as well, as you know, Ultra has already gone through this area. Only really that window to work with. Ultra's going to have a big opportunity potentially to get down here. The Fang is doing some great movement and is able to avoid the chainsaw a little bit longer. Should be able to make this window as well. Ultra is going to be led on a chase for a little bit longer here. If they're not able to get the down right here, we could potentially see another generator popping and potentially a recovery from SUF here, but Ultra is going to try and juice them on the Z-Wop. Ooh, but is forced out the M1 because of that. That's a great play from Fang, forcing out the M1, as now they're going to be able to make some distance to something else, but Ultra able to recover super fast from that. Still is going to force them into this area and immediately bamboozle into them, but goes for the swing and misses, meaning that even more time will be wasted by the Fang. They'll go down at the Z-Wall Infinite, but that's going to buy a lot of time for both the survivors to work on these generators. We see that Nia is almost completed on one, around 70%, and that's the same with Meg's gen as well. Both of them are going to be around 70%. Ultra is going to need to interrupt them as soon as possible. That pain resonance will come through. One of them will be forced off, and we'll see the Fang getting on that hook for the first time, meaning 3 stacks and no way out as well. This in-game seems all good for Ultra, even though both of these gens are at 70%.
Yeah, it's now going to be a tricky one here. Ultra has a good control over the map here. We do have the next survivor on the hook. We have 5 stages so far. The safe is coming in. You know, the position of 2 survivors here, and one direction. That's going to be BT, but we count that as a snipe here. That was a very nice one by Ultra. Now straight onto the Mac here as well. Alan is in a difficult spot. He has this low pallet here, but the time is not there.
He got the curve!
Oh, the curve!
Oh my
Ultra,
God!
very nice one. That was a curve for the Archives here. What a beautiful coordination.
And if he gets Pain Resonance, this gen's gonna get interrupted too.
It's going to be another generator if Pain Res is not popping in time, and that will be the case here. So the Survivor's not able to pop that generator straight away, cutting even more time from the Survivor team now near the final healthy Survivor. Potentially the chase as well. Also going back and forth here, guarding the generator and the hook. Now the decision has been made. He's going back towards the generator, kicking that, takes the reduction on the generator and is looking around. Where's the Survivor? Where's the Nia? I think she went down towards the edge of the map there, so Ultra is looking in the wrong spot here. She's hiding there behind a rock, is able to avoid Ultra. A very important play here, because having the next chase immediately would have been a really, really difficult spot here for Safa. They potentially even need to go for a reset now, where they have been able, that Ultra is not spotting them, not having anyone in a chase, just get a nice reset off, avoid an M1 in a dead zone, but already with scratch marks once again here, so it doesn't seem like Safa has the time for that. 6 hook stages already, so Ultra here in a very, very phenomenal spot to take set number 1 for Cynic. It's going to be the next chase on this jungle gym here as well, but the pallet already gone from early in the trial here, so that's going to be holding W towards the next pallet here, which is going to be a filler pallet, and unfortunately,
that should be the down too!
Not going to be a long run, so the next down coming in 4 generators, but 7 stages already, so we are now talking about a performance. Oh, they get the end game! Now it's going to be interesting how many stages he gets, because he could still make something happen here, potentially even a 4K.
Yeah, we could see Yokatis going down, getting another fresh hook even before the doors start getting worked on. That would mean 4 stacks of Noelle, but ooh, Ultra instead will find the Meg. This is actually even more horrible since the Meg is injured. Ultra's on a filler pallet. The low pro chains could come through huge here unless we see another huge curve on the Meg. No, not this time. The Meg has learned, but Ultra still in a great position. Yokat needs to come in for the save before he even starts on the doors, because if he starts on the doors, Ultra's going to know exactly where that Survivor is, being able to go for the healthy one thanks to No Way Out, but even still, Meg will go down before Yokat's able to do anything. He starts on the door. Now, Ultra knows exactly where he is. We saw the pickup onto the slug, and Ultra is going to hook nearby. We know where Yokout has to be, somewhere behind this main building or inside of it. Ultra knows that too. He's going to try and hunt down this last Survivor, as Fang is about to take their death as well. That's going to be 3 people almost confirmed dead here for Ultra. Now, it all rests on whether or not Nia is going to be able to get out, but if we look up at the score, it seems that we will see Cynic already taking this Billy round, so it's really down to Pride here now, whether or not the Nia is going to be able to go out. Ultra going to try and confirm not being able to get that hatch escape by closing it, but No Way Out in the meantime should be up before Ultra is able to make it back. Yokat is going to be staying near the door as well to try and get that open, hiding behind this junk. Ultra is going to check which door, the one on the right or one on the left. That's the question. He goes on the hill, he checks the right one. However, we know Nia is hiding behind, I was gonna say hiding behind that trash, but Ultra able to see over the car wall as well, watches both doors, and Yokat goes to the door to accept his death and the final chase with Ultra's Billy.
Final chase here for a good mindset for Safa, because they will play Survivor straight again on the Dead Dog Saloon, set number 2 with the Cenobite. So you do want a very nice last chase here in order to take some courage and say, let's get it into set 2. And that was a very, very close one as well here. Ultra potentially being the snipe master of the Winter Circuit when we see a little bit more Hillbilly. It's going to be a nice M1 here. The pallet dropped a little bit too late, and the chase around the main building is about to start. Is Yokadex able to die to the end game collapse, or will it be Ultra finishing it with his own hands? Nice patience there on the pallet, but eventually it all comes to an end after one final locker juke here. Yokadex going on the hook, so we actually see the 4K, a performance well above the average for a Hillbilly on the gas heaven here. First set going to Cynic. We are going to see the Cenobite on the Dead Dog Saloon, map that needs a lot of tactics and a lot of team coordination, especially when you want to successfully abuse this main building here. So Safa in the bad spot here. They suffer a lot from Ultra's great performance here in set number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, pause the video real quick, get some popcorn and a drink. We'll be back on the desert map. It's been a good day so far for Cynic, and therefore Ultra is feeling confident to come to the Dead Dog Saloon with the Cenobite here. Alan, Burkhard said, and the others. Silaya Put Neaporta. I'm better not trying to pronounce that correctly. But we are seeing the first chase instantly. Ultra spawning in and instantly having a survivor under pressure here in the section in front of the main building. Usually a strong one, but with the right chains, you can't cut that down. He does get the resource out of the way, though it's dropped, but the survivor doing a really good job here. Triple vault, quadra vault. No, that's going to end in a fake here. So
side now.
3.5 vaults here. That's going to be the next chain. Great one from Ultra here. First hit instantly coming out 40 seconds into this game. Shack pallet being dropped as well. So you can tell that Suffer wants to make a really, really good early game here, not offering any additional injuries or even a down. And Ultra, however, is catching up quickly on the survivor. Catches the one that is set up here, and it's going to be the injury on Feng that was supposed to work as a bodyguard here. Now going for her, the house section, not the safest, especially against the Cenobite here with a good aim, and he does take it a little bit chill here. Third injury potentially coming out, a sprint burst. Not doing too much, I believe. That's still going to be an M1 onto Mac here. So 3 survivors injured. Now time potentially to go back onto the generator, but he just wants the Mac now. The generator doesn't matter anymore. Safety best for last. Lost its stacks, not hitting this chain. So Suffer fighting bad. It's a really, really intense early game so far.
Yeah, but you have to keep in mind, Ultra's doing a great job of forcing the survivors off of these generators. So far, 3 are injured as well. If they're not going to be going for resets, Ultra, after getting this first down, is going to have the opportunity to try and snowball. Gets this chain as well. As long as he doesn't break his own, he should be able to get the down. And there's the down. And now onto the Obsession. And like you said, with those save the best for last stacks, you're going to be able to build them up while that survivor is on that hook. However, you have to keep in mind, when you go back and you have to go over there to try and interrupt them, you're going to, or tunnel them out rather, you're going to get a lot of opportunity to lose those stacks as well. So it's definitely a risk reward for hooking the Obsession first. However, now going to get the chase onto Feng. Ultra will miss the first chain and the save will come through. Ultra needs it down here fast because 2 generators are near popping. One of them has already popped, and Ultra is just going to opt to break this pallet instead of trying to play around it after missing 2 of those chains. So a lot of time wasted. Feng's doing a great job of being able to stay up in this chase. However, Ultra knows a lot of the resources in this area have been used, and there's a great opportunity to get a hit around this pallet with the Cenobite's power, but Ultra doesn't even need it. He's just going to go for the chains, and this should result in the hit on the back of the Feng.
That was so beautiful. That was so beautifully played by Ultra here. Nicely back and forth. And then in the right moment, he does go for the chain. But yeah, it costed a little bit of time. You mentioned the reset. That's definitely coming through. 3 healthy survivors now again. And save the best for last. Still not looking like the biggest value here. So Ultra now also face camping. No, that's a visual bug here. It's still going to result in a minus rep on the Steam profile afterwards. It's going to be 50% on this generator over here. Mech is rotating in to take the generator at the water tower, and that one is back to 50% here as well. So that is a lot of drop here from the progress, and Ultra feeling very confident here. You have the main building, you have 1 survivor behind it that is pinpointed, not able to do anything. You have a good overview of what the survivors are doing. I don't think you worry too much if the water tower generator is attacked at the moment. You could potentially even camp the survivor into second stage, and then you would have also solved the issue that you have the Obsession close to death here and need to worry about the stacks. Sending a little chain there to the water tower generator as well. Taking a little bit of care of the map as well, getting the resources out of the way. Potentially 2 generators being popped here very soon. Ace is rotating once again, giving some assistance here on the water tower generator. So good trade-off for both teams. Ultra getting the second stage, Suffer getting 2 generators for it. It really comes down to the question, who's making the next mistake here?
Yeah, but that's also a really, really big advantage for Ultra, I think, as a lot of the resources in this area, this side of the map, have been used. So if Ultra's able to even get the death on here before another generator is popped, Ultra's going to have a huge advantage. However, the survivors aren't going to make it easy. As you see, they're running up to the main building. One of the remaining resources that still haven't been used. Ultra, however, going to be able to interrupt Yokotics, who's now working on the box. That means Ultra is going to be able to waste 2 survivors' time, 1 on the hook, and Yokotics going for the box right next to the save. However, the 2 other survivors should be working on those 2 remaining gens. If Ultra is not going to be able to get this kill before then it could be a huge disadvantage for him. However, it seems like Ace wasn't allocating their time towards the generator, instead going for a last-second save. The 2-man body block. Yokotics will take the first hit, and now a hit on to the Ace as well. Only 2 stacks of save the best for last. However, it seems like that's still still going to be enough as we do see the Fang taking a hit, and we see the Min go through thanks to the add-on from Ultra, bypassing the base kit BT, and the down and subsequent tunnel out will go through, wasting 3 survivors' time and getting a death, meaning Meg was the only one who could work on those generators. Ultra in a great position now as well, with all of them injured and 3 stacks to save the best for last. Ultra is going to have a great opportunity here to even get through a reset if the survivors are able to make it to that point.
Yeah, it's now going to be a tough spot once again here. 3 injuries. We talked about it a little bit when they got the reset, how much that meant for their pressure here, but instantly the chain applied on this injured survivor. That's not going to be enough of time. That wouldn't even have been enough time on an EU server as well. For everyone who's coming in with the raised finger saying this is NA West ping, it does not come in clutch here in this match. Ultra proving great game sense and very, very nice strategy throughout his game here. And therefore being really rewarded for himself and Team Cynic here, checking behind the main building as well, and technique that got invented a little bit by Zaka back in the days in the comp DVD to check the map here. So Ultra using it very, very nicely as well, is making a good mix also between staying at the hook and checking their surroundings, and he does actually find someone. So the mix between passive camping, securing the hook stages, and aggressive push onto the survivors, putting them on pressure, is working out for him here, checking on this generator there as well. You can now let the survivor go. You know they had a little bit of time waste there. They're not sitting on the generator, and if you now return and the unhook is not coming through, which it will, that's a very important play by Team SUF here, otherwise it would have been the second stage confirmed. Ace is trying to take it with the base kit BT, but keep in mind his stand, so he needs to get a really, really good chase, and he needs to get into safety, and that's not going to happen. So immediate down once again onto Ace here. That wasn't really the play here. The injured Nia could have taken a hit, and then both of them could have rotated back towards the shack here. She's now going to be busy as well with the box, so a lot going on the side of SUF. They are not able to take the control in the mid game here. Ultra stays in the dominant position.
Able to interrupt
now
it.
Even going for the interruption here, so Ultra playing absolutely out of his mind, and it's just beautiful to watch here, even though he camps again.
Yeah, we'll see the Meg starting to work on that box. Yokotics is going to be interrupted. Ultra now going into the chase right on their tail. We're going to see the chains come through. Another filler pallet. This is not going to be the place you want to be, especially with those stacks of save the best for last. They're not going to be able to make that much distance. Another chain could come through and potentially end this chase even faster. Ultra goes for it, but ooh, just barely misses on the back of the Nia. Nia now will be able to get a little bit of distance, but is it enough? That's the question. It seems like it is, as they're now going to be able to make a lot of distance away from where the hook is. However, Ultra is going to cut through the main building and finds the Meg working on one of the final generators. That means that Ace should really realistically here die if Ultra plays this correctly, able to sit in between both of the survivors. However, he is kind of committing to the Nia, so now the question is up to the Meg. Do I go for my team, or do I go for the gens? Guaranteed points or the potentiality to win this. Ultra gets the down onto the Nia as well, meaning that the box will go through. That should interrupt the Meg even more in a couple seconds, potentially, meaning that they're not going to be able to finish that last gen. We have Nia, we have Ace dying, both of them on those hooks. Meg, the only one left alive, and is going to get the guaranteed points of that gen, which, like you just said, is going to be very, very important going into this next game. That means that Cynic will at least have to get 4 or all generators done if they want to win here. So it really comes down to whether or not SUF is able to play a better game than Ultra has here. But Ultra, despite the early game that went really well for SUF, definitely made a comeback here and was able to put a lot of pressure on to the survivors. The last chase of the game potentially will be starting now, and it will already have a hit onto them. Those save the best for last stacks really came in clutch, I think, being able to catch up with that Nia and now get a lot of pressure onto them. We have one of the strongest pallets in the game here, but Ultra, using his power correctly, is going to be able to immediately make that a non-issue and gets the down, finishing out this game. That's going to be 28 points for Ultra's team here and 8 for SUF. 28-8 here for Cynic.
Yeah, and I think this, what we talked about, right? This last generator here, or the 4th generator, getting it done was so important, because especially on Dead Dog Saloon, you can have some very nasty 3 gens. So if there's a chance for SUF to make something work, to put Cynic in a difficult spot, it might be a great 3 gen that can spawn on this map. Therefore, very important 2 points right there. 28-8, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you in trial 4. 5 generators for Team Cynic would be the win condition here to take this best of 3 after just 2 sets and move a little bit closer into the winter circuit here. We see Corrupt Intervention. We also see a Sloppy Butcher for a little bit longer healing times together with Call of Brian and Scorch Hook, and that's an immediate find of the box, and that reveals the locations of our survivors. So Chenan starts immediately here. Good start for our killer. That's exactly what you need when you have to stop the survivors from the generator. Cynic in the luxury position here that they can commit to the final generator if it's getting close. They do not need to worry about any escapes here, but we talked about it in the last trial. There are difficult regions on this map, so this is definitely something SUF's killer will be able to work with. He spots the first survivor that is rotating over into the corrupted area. Very, very beautiful basic knowledge here and using the most time from the killer. And that's going to be the first injury here. So very nice chain use onto Ultra as well. We see the rotation towards the main building kind of being abused on this map a couple of times, and also there could be someone rotating in for the body block, but it seems like Yukarex just wants the down as quick as possible here, so follows up and catches the next survivor that leaves the generator a little bit too late here. So 2 injuries at the main building, kind of trapping them here. That's a good start for our killer.
Yeah, I do think so as well, especially since Yokai is going to be able to get the hit here. I think Angels was trying to get rid of those chains before vaulting, not wanting to go for the slow vault, wanted that medium, but that's going to cost them. Angels is going to get it down because of that. And Yoka honestly has a better start than Ultra ever did previously. This could be a base to build the win from. We see Ultra was going for the reset nearby where this hook was as well. If Yoka's able to find Ultra, this could lead into another quick down. However, he's going to use this time to get the breakable wall, finds the scratch marks of 2 other survivors rather, but isn't going to go for either this time as well. We're going to see him break the Jin, and now we're retreating back to where he saw one of the survivors, and that's going to be Nev. He's going to be found out on a filler, but Yoka, instead of playing around it with his power, instead going to break it, and now going onto a stronger pallet, Yoka is going to try and play around with his power. However, that confidence seems to have played out as Nev will still take the M1 and now really has nothing to work with. Yoka's going to be able to catch up really fast, but thanks to the Lithe, that's not going to be just true yet. We're still going to have a little bit of time that Nev is going to be able to make something else. He seems like to want to go for the window, but it's not going to be enough because of that chain. Yoka now onto another hook. We also know that Angels was nearby upstairs working on a generator, and Ultra should have been there as well, but they are going for the reset. The question is Angels going to be able to get reset before Yoka's able to interrupt that heal? We know he has the power. He sees him, but he misses the placement of the chain. That should give them just barely enough time to get the reset, but still gonna be close. But he hits Angels instead of Ultra. That's gonna mean that the heal will go through. However, Angels could potentially immediately get hit again, but no, Yoka instead gonna drop down, go for the save, finds Ultra there, but instead gonna go for Nev. And this is important to look out for. Yoka didn't use his power there. Instead, he just went for the regular M1 onto Nev. He could have gotten the down even faster than this, but it seems like Nev still doesn't have a lot to work with. He gets the vault. However, that's gonna give him a little bit more time. Yoka will go for the vault himself as well, but Nev doesn't have a lot of distance, but he does have a body block. Angels will come through in clutch. Nev should be able to get away here now. Going around the main building, we saw another person working on the box, but keep in mind, that gen that just popped is the first one. We've already have 2 hooks, and it seems like a third is just on its way.
Yeah, there's so much going on right now. It's hard to see if Cynic is in an organized spot or if this was chaos. It might have been organized chaos, kinda, but there was so much going on here. But the generator progress looks different and speaks another language there. There are 2 generators with 20% for 3 hook stages already, so unfortunately they are not the quickest here on the Dead Dog Saloon, and that's something they need to pick up here, because often you are going into the match saying just all generators. Hey, that's a luxury position, but sometimes that sounds way easier than it actually is. Nev also on the second stage, already 40 seconds away from the elimination here. It would make things tremendously more difficult if a survivor is dying here early on, and that's going to be the chains now around this pallet here. Nice mind game by Yokarex as well. Leave every survivor injured here, so the save just coming in at the back, but I'm very confident we will see a tunnel out here behind the main building. The chase going on, so dragging the killer away away from the active generator, saving some time and making some space for the team here. Nev now in the borrowed time effect, and now going to be the next one. The next vault coming through as well, but we need a body block. But looking onto the hut here, Lusty is the only one getting into the locker as well. It's going to be Lusty now coming in clutch here with the body block. They have made it a little bit longer. The time is coming in for Team Cynic here, but they need the generators. We need at least 2 generators. And yeah, I was about to say, if this generator would have, this mind game would have worked across the entire main build, there would have been huge. There's one good day. We need a second one though, and we need it soon. Otherwise, it might be a difficult position here.
And Ultra is going to get interrupted, meaning that the one generator I think that was close to being completed, Yokai is going to be able to find out in the open. Ultra also going to be injured. It's going to be really hard to play around this filler as well. This should just be the down. And Yokai able to show again and again his mastery of being able to keep these survivors injured and pressure them into areas where they're not really able to reset. We'll see Angels on the box, but as I said before, Yokai interrupted the one gen that really needed some more in the meantime, however, is going to be able to get reset. That's going to be huge for Yokai, or for Cynic here, since Nev is on their death hook. However, we find another survivor here on the main building. We've seen time and time again how good Yokai is at playing around this main building. Lusty is going to need a great chase to be able to get away from this, but just not enough on the tail of that chain. We will see the down now onto Lusty. Another hook coming through, and another gen not completed just yet. Yokai in such a great position, but it seems like the survivors are going to play this, so go for the reset. And if they're able to make a comeback now, there's still a possibility to win this, but it's going to be difficult. Since no one's dead, however, like I said, it's still a possibility to come back from this.
Yeah, it is going to be harder and harder now, right, for the killer with every single generator and every single save they are performing, especially the resets. It's going to be tricky, but Cynic not in a safe spot just yet. Still 3 generators to go, and still with 2 injured survivors, especially.
Ooh, the drop down!
Oh, hello, Angels! Welcome down here on the dead dog. I was just about to say, yeah, I was just about to say the next chase needs to be a long one, but Angels unfortunately planned otherwise here. So that's a very nice gift for Yokai. We have to name it like a little present here, because that's now also the next survivor that is in the second hook stage, and that will be eliminated very soon here. So Yokai better and stronger with every single minute that is spent on the Dead Dog Saloon. The next survivor in a chase here at the main building as well, quite busy. So that's going to be 2 survivors only on the generators. There's going to be an information from the Call of Brian as well. So this survivor is quite close. You might be able to reach it with a chain, but you have to be busy with this save here. That's going to be the BT instantly applied. Now a nice chain, and then you would be able to keep Angels under control here. We can only hope that Angels is not dropping into the killer once again, and I do believe that's going to be a long run here. Is that going to be the drop down? Or yeah, he didn't hear it, and it's all the way back onto the main building here. That's going to cost a lot of time. It was a very important play by Team Cynic here. Still a back and forth between these 2 teams around every single second they can potentially take from the other side here. And now going to be the mending as well, so they can potentially rotate over to keep him safe. But there's the survivor caught once again. That's going to be the next run around the main building. Where is he exactly? That's going to be a little bit hesitation. Unfortunately, that's not going to be a successful vault. So 3 generators completed, but an elimination coming through here. It's now going to be harder and harder. 5% on this one. 1 survivor busy in the open. So Cynic not close to completions. Yeah, where's the progress? Good day.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very bad for Cynic. One thing I want to mention, however, before this game ends, Cynic is a newer team. So when going against killers like the Pinhead, if you don't have the coordination built up with your team with a lot of experience and stuff like that, you tend to crumble. And I think that's what we can really aspire to what happened in the early game in this match. However, we still have the potential for a comeback here. We've seen the ability of each of these survivors in the chase, and if they're able to avoid Yokai for just a little bit longer, there still is that potential. However, Lusty being injured, that's really going to be the target that Yokai is going to be going for. So Nev being the next target that you'd want to go for, since they are on death hook, is going to try and act as that distraction, as Ultra is going to continue working on the generators, and hopefully Lusty finds one that is safe for him to work on as well. Nev going to return to the main building, something that I don't know whether or not it's the right play. We've seen Yokai play really, really well on this main building, especially in the early game. He's fallen off a little bit here in the late game, but he does have a lot of potential, and I would think that if you were Lusty, you would be working near this main building as well. And yep, that's exactly what happened. The survivor ran into his teammate, and that's going to mean that Yokai is now in the best position. He has his first priority and his second priority in the same area on the same side of the mat. Yokai is very, very happy right now, and if he's able to land this chain and potentially even get the hook, it seems like the fourth one will come through as well. No, just barely going to be broken by that banister, meaning Lusty's going to be able to make the ball and potentially make this pallet. He makes the pallet as well. However, he is chained up. He needs to get rid of these chains. He needs a body block or something, or else the down will still come through. Lusty now going to take another hook, but the generator that Ultra was working on will get popped in the meantime. However, now all generators are relatively close to each other, meaning Yokai is in a very good position, especially with finding Nev nearby the hook as well. Yokai really only needs to know the info of where Ultra is, and he finds them with that chain. Now Yokai is in his perfect element right now.
Yeah, this is perfect to watch. Very important that they got the fourth generator done there, because that would now switch it to a tie rather than a loss. So we would stay on the Dead Dog Saloon, and you basically gain a second chance and not losing the set immediately here. Ultra being the next injured one together with Lusty here. Nev could work on a generator, but as you mentioned, they're close together and they all had a progress of roughly 0%. So it's going to be a very, very difficult task. It needs to be a 90-second chase basically with no resources, and the killer knows that. Yokai is going back towards the main building where he saw a lot of survivors, where he knows the pressure is the highest, especially on this main building generator that was regressing time and time again, but they have pushed it potentially together back towards 40-50%, but the fast mine is leaving a little greeting to Yokai here, but that's going to be the kick regardless. The Call of Brian now coming in as well, and with this chase going on at the main building, you will also be able to monitor your generator a little bit, so potentially losing a lot of progress here once again. Yokai still able to keep the survivors under control, not close to getting the fifth generator done. They have to answer questions when they and where they want to take a reset. It seems to be the moment now, so Lusty and Ultra are currently busy, so Nev needs an even longer chase to make sure that they are not going to run into the next unhook task here as well. So it's all going to tie up for Cynic here. They need a phenomenal chase. Nev seems to be on a good run, but he won't reach that window here. So next down coming in, and I do believe that's it's going to be a death, right? So 2 survivors remaining. You might need to switch your tactics towards an endgame plan here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very, very difficult to try and get this last generator out with only 2 survivors remaining. I think Ultra should have taken that chase. You know, he is the fresh hook. He does have the potentiality for the most points, but really what you need from Cynic right now is just that last gen. So I think Ultra, instead of running away from the main building and making himself a hard target, probably should have been the one to stay at that main building and go for the chase onto Yokai, even though he was injured. It's fine to take a short chase as long as it's not the last chase that you'll have in the game. And I think being the fresh hook, Ultra definitely should have had that chase right then instead of now, as Yokai will get the down and not only onto Ultra, but also the reveal onto Lusty, and the box being able to slow down Lusty in that next chase as well. No way for Ultra to get up here. Lusty has no way to make it back safely towards Ultra either, meaning this should just be the last chase of the game. Let's see what Lusty has to offer here as Yokai gets a wonderful chain. This should result in the first hit already in the chase, and now Lusty only having really this filler palette to work around.
And that's going to be the next one here, the next chain. Oh, no, he's not going for it. That's going to be a little bit of circling here around this building, but it is going to happen. A tie on the Dead Dog Saloon. That means Yokai will stay at the killer. We are playing tiebreakers in alternating order, so Yokai will stay on the killer side here for Team Suffer, and I think that could really work into Suffer's advantage here. They need the next set point. They need,
Ultra could bleed out. Ultra could bleed out and be the difference in points. The 1 point difference here to upset the tie. That's why Yokai just left Lusty. Ultra is a fresh hook. This still could play out for Cynic's favor. If Ultra's able to hide well enough here, we could potentially see when he's going to be hiding in the bush. And, you know, Dead Dog is a great place to try and hide and get the bleed out. Yokai also checking the edge map as Ultra is kind of near the edge map, but just a little bit in. Ooh, but we see the blood, we see the body, and Yokai will get the hook onto Ultra. That means that the tie should come through no matter what. Even if Lusty bleeds out, he's not going to be worth that 1 point since he's not a fresh hook.
Yeah, see, with the new bleeder, I was taking it a little bit too easy, you're right. I was like, we are still awarding points now, but indeed, there's 1 point difference if you're not dead already. So that would have been the tiebreaker here, basically. But Ultra not able to hide well enough here on the Dead Dog Saloon, so we're just scouting for Lusty now. But as said, Yokat is going to stay on the killer side, so that's going to work in an advantage of Suffer. You've just shown a phenomenal game after a strong killer game from Cynic. You have everything it needs. You know you can keep the survivors under control. So Cynic is the team that really needs to find a good tactical response in the next few minutes here when we are setting up the next game. They need to discuss a few mistakes they have made here. But for Suffer it could work out. Suffer needs this set point on the Dead Dog Saloon to stay in with a 1-1. They do need a nice game once again, but I'm confident that Yokat can do it. We'll find out if that is going to be the case after this hatch has been closed and after the next game is ready.
Yes, that's going to be very, very fun to see for the people in the distance after a short... Come on. Cut.
Break? Oh. I doubt that the survivors brought this perk, but I have a déjà vu looking on this killer and this map, because here we are again. We need to decide the second set, ladies and gentlemen. It's now going to be Suffer on the killer side first. We saw 4 repaired generators on both teams here, so it is going to be Yoka coming in with confidence. You just kept Cynic on a good run and under control here, so you can do it straight again. That's what you would think. The question is, will Cynic go for a different strategy here? It seems to be silent besides the box being solved, but that's already the first difference to the previous trial here. No immediate chain hunt by the box for the killer here, and that's going to be a balanced landing into a miss as well. So no injury and far away from the active generators here. A very different approach from Team Cynic here. Great chain into the first injury. Yeah, 60 seconds into the trial barely. Do we see someone on the gallows? I'm not entirely sure if there was a survivor. We are doing a little bit of dropping here and there, but that's now going to leave the survivor. You want an injury on a survivor that is in a more difficult spot than the main building. There's one survivor here on the gallows area. Nice one working on the tile there, and the generator just a few percentages here as well. That's going to be the second injury of the game. 80 seconds into the trial. Cynic looks a little bit more organized, but Yokat still looks like someone who keeps these survivors injured.
Yeah, I think what Yokat's really game plan here is to get those injuries as soon as possible with that sloppy butcher, and then play around the injury game, because then you can snowball really hard. And finding Ultra, finding Nev, finding Lusty, finding all of these survivors from the start, Yoka should be able to do exactly just that. 3 survivors already injured, knows where the healthy one is, and doesn't necessarily even have to go for them. However, you have to keep in mind that the survivors that were injured weren't really pressured, so Nev's gonna get reset. We should see Lusty getting reset, and that means Angels is the only one that Yokat can really snowball onto. However, he also needs to keep in mind on these gens, as Ultra was nearby this one, already being able to tap that and stop it from regressing. Lusty in the meantime gonna get reset. Yokat needs to get an injury, maybe even a down possibly, if he really wants to get a lot of pressure on these survivors, because if they do just go and get this full reset like they just did, that means Yokat really is now back to square zero. It's back to square one, doesn't really have a lot to do, and there's pressure on these generators already. The survivors definitely have a huge advantage in this situation now, and this is a much better start from Cynic than we saw before.
Yeah, it's a very, very strong start. Everyone back to healthy, insane, and that's also boosting your mindset. And yeah, Ultra takes an unfortunate hit here, but you have gotten the stun as well, so that's going to grant you some distance here. They are back on the box as well, so they seem to be organized as well with all the tasks they have to do throughout the trial here. Yokat is busy checking on these generators. You really don't want to lose this 3-gen here. It seems like they're slowly getting the progress into these generators, but Call of Brian is definitely going to help them a lot here. It would potentially be better to work on the generator on the gallows or on the right side there, because it does give you access to the main building or back to the water tower. So I would doubt that a survivor is hopping back onto the corner generator there. Reset coming in once again as well. Meanwhile, a survivor not taking something risky. So I really like what I see from Cynic. It seems like, how long did they take? 3.5 minutes? It seems like these 3.5 to 4 minutes setup time have been used really well by Team Cynic to discuss a new strategy, to pinpoint some mistakes and come back basically as a completely different team.
Yeah, they're definitely in a much stronger position than they were before previously. 2 full resets already, a lot of gen progress gained. Yokot with nothing to show for it other than dropped pallets. There's really nothing that Yokot has had of an advantage here in this game just yet, and we already see that the generators are flying through. A lot of these are going to pop. I believe if Yokot doesn't get it down or doesn't commit to a chase right now and get it down fast, then we're probably going to see all like 4 or 5 generators pop really quick in fast succession from one another because of how much progress they have. There's one right there. We know another one's being worked on to the left. Yokot not going to be able to go for it. Ultra will take the hit, but still, Yokot's going to be going to have to play around main building. We've seen him have a lot of success in that, but now he's scared. He knows that there's a lot of progress on these generators, so he returns now back, finding Angels out by the water tower. However, now you have to play around another pallet. Now you have to play around another area. Yokot will be able to get this first hit faster than he was onto Ultra. However, the survivors have had a time to now go back. Angels and Ultra are probably going to reset once again. Ultra's already gotten reset. Angels probably going to get reset soon, and we might see another full reset with these generators getting closer and closer to completion. Another one about to pop, and 3 more with a decent amount of progress on each one of them.
This is just crazy good how they made a 180 turn coming back on the Dead Dog Saloon. 2 generators, not a single hook stage, and now not even a single injury anymore. I talked. Oh no! Minecraft playstyle in the main building here once again, not able to catch some Angels juicing up here as well, as the community would call that. We do catch someone in the 3-gen, and look at the beautiful call out being made very early. The survivor just holding W away here, has the box as well, but not taking any risk, not even offering an injury or a hook stage in this 3-gen area here. So Cynic playing really well. Yokot is going all the way around, but the survivor is aware of that as well, saying the winner of this mind game. So Cynic basically making everything correct. There's not a single mistake happening here, and that's really impressive. Back to the main building, basically the location on the Dead Dog Saloon where you waste a lot of time, especially when you miss the chains once again. I do believe we slowly see that Yokot is getting nervous. You feel the pressure. The survivors are dictating the game at the moment. They have him in a spot where he needs to worry about the generator, where he doesn't have time to go into longer chases. They really have the pressure down here onto the killer. That's going to be a chain application, but you have to work around it here. And even this mind game doesn't work out because of the great patience from Angels here. So absolutely amazing. Angels in particular picking it up here. He was the survivor that jumped into the killer, basically made this little mistake there. Now Angels, look at them coming back strong and forcing a really strong game here. 3rd generator completed. Even the gallows generators are slowly rising towards completion here. So if there's not a serious mistake or an absolutely out of this world answer by Yokot, this could be a tremendously good result for Team Cynic.
You have to keep in mind, however, that the last generators are all going to be very close to each other. No matter which one's completed here in this scenario, there are no other generators on the other side of the map. They're only on this side of the map, so 2 generators need to pop in quick succession to one another, or a long, drawn-out game from Cynic could come into the late game. We see Angels take that hit, and one thing I want to mention is Yokot now retreats back to his 3-gen is how important that chase onto Ultra was. Ultra with the box out in an area where he could potentially go down very quickly. If he went down there, Yokot would have been in a very strong position now with the box up, knowing all the locations of the survivors. He could have made a comeback, but Ultra was able to get away because Yokot missed 3 chains in a row, and that's really, I think, what cemented Cynic's huge advantage now into the in-game here. It all comes down to whether or not Yokot is able to stop him here, but with Nev's chase going on right now, I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. Angels gets reset in the distance as well. Yokot should be able to get a hit here now, but it's going to waste a little bit more time, and now we switch over to Ultra to even Nev is going to immediately be able to get back on his generator. Yokot knows that, and so now retreats back towards his generators. Can't commit to any chase on any survivor who goes back out towards the main building, and so the resets are just going to come in, and they're going to come in for free. Yokot with not a lot to do and so little time, he's going to have to try and get an injure and get it down as fast as possible. He gets one onto Angels. Angels has to run into him. I think this is the one that Yokot needs to commit to. If he's able to get it down to here at this main building, then it could be huge. I don't believe Angels is the user with Lithe or with that balanced landing, so this is the best place for Yokot to really chase them. However, Lusty comes in for a body block. That's going to waste a lot of time. That means Nev is going to be working on Generator. A lot of progress is going to be gained by that, but Yokot knows that. He takes his 2 injuries, and now he resets. That's going to be more than 32 seconds on those 2 resets that has to go in through because of that slobby butcher now. But he does find Nev out in deep into the 3-gen as well, meaning that Yokot now again has the potential to try and get a fast down in his 3-gen, but no, instead he's going to go for the 4-man pressure, getting all of them injured and getting some pressure out of that. However, as we've seen, Angels and Nev or Angels and Lusty rather, were already really close to each other, so Angels is going to get that reset. I think this is what Yokot's game plan was from the start, but Cynic have answered back with these resets so heavily. I don't think he should go for it anymore. He misses a chain onto Ultra as well, and now everyone's going to be able to get away. Everyone's going to be able to go for the reset, and really, now it all comes down to whether or not we're going to see Yokot find that, and he does find exactly where that reset was happening, but one of them gets reset. Lusty, the only one not getting that reset just yet. That means Yokot's going to have a great target, but he is the balance landing user. Will he be able to get off in time? No! The hit does come through before the drop. That means that Lusty will now be the first hook. However, there's one of the generators. Where's the second one? What's its progress? That's the question. We now have a guaranteed 3-gen and a place that Yokot never really needs to leave.
Yeah, this is now going to be the fight between the team coordination of Cynic and the call of Brian coming in clutch from Yokot X and his great strategy. I was wondering for a second as well if the 4-man injury is the right strategy here, because you are playing against a team that in this trial proved they are on point with the resets and can do it very, very quickly. So potentially forcing it down a little bit earlier or committing to a chase would have maybe granted a little bit more. But you have your first hook stage now. You are able to injure them all again, so that's going to be a lot of time here to patrol the generators. He's a little bit unsure about the one onto you. If he could spot the reset, that would have been so huge here as well, but we are working around the main building for now.
Ooh,
one of the final pallets in the Dad Dog Saloon still standing here. I don't know if that was a little bit too greedy. It was not. Angels really, really strong in this trial here with particular really, really long chases.
And the body block!
The help coming in as well. So now Cynic absolutely shining. That means that at least one survivor is at the generators back there, but look at the Nev here going back towards the 3-gen and solving the box over there with one survivor as well. That is of course Ultra, the healthy survivor that is not in too much risk here, but that will eventually be the 4th injury if Yokot is able to spot them. But Ultra is going to become a ninja here, managed to stealth out the killer successfully, has already moved over towards this generator here that is slowly pushing towards the 30% mark here. Everything is going really slow. It is a back and forth now, asking for the question, who's going to make the next mistake? Yokot X potentially overcommitting to a survivor, because as longer this game gets, I do feel like the killer really wants it down, that at some point the survivors might be able to force him into an overcommitment and very last second. Yeah, Lusty is absolutely phenomenal with these body blocks here. We do move back, however, onto the window up there. That's going to be a double reset between these 2 survivors, but you have time now to apply Call of Brian, so that's going to be in the favor of Team SUF.
Everyone's over at the main building. Yokot doesn't know this. He's going to try and protect his 3-gen, but this is going to be the full 4-man reset. But, oh my god, the box being found right here is going to mean all of them are going to be revealed. Yokot knows exactly where to go to, and he's going to be able to interrupt them with those chains. They're not going to be able to get the reset. He's going to find at least 2 injured, and no one's going to be working on gens. This is a great position for Yokot to be in. He sees where one of them also is behind that rock, but he's not going to go for him. Instead, now going for the injured survivors, not going to risk going for a non-injured one because he needs the pressure and he needs it now. He follows the blood. He's going to try and go after, I believe that's Lusty using the balance landing to get away, and this could be a great outcome for him if he's able to get this down fast.
Yeah, now Angel's back on the box there as well, doing so much for his team. The chases, the pressure now with the box here as well, and there's going to be a quick chain. However, Angels will take the injury from that. I doubt that this is going to be enough for the... Yeah, that's going to be the injury now. So 3 survivors injured now. They have to rotate back towards the main building. Who's going to be the one with the mistake? Who's going to hand out a hook stage or a generator objective for free here. For Suffer, the pressure is higher because they're 1 down and 3 survivors here in the main building. Hello, everyone. Unfortunately, not able to protect Angels here altogether. Neff is going to be punished with an injury as well. So this is now going to push them a little bit into a more difficult position, but Suffer is greatly taking the gladly taking the second hook stage here. Now also the hook not far away from the 3-gen area here, so our killer also able to move the survivor a little bit closer towards the area he wants to protect, but Cynic has an immediate response to that, is going for the reset as quick as possible after the unhook there, while we do see the next chase coming in, unfortunately with a miss. So if Lusty is able to run the killer a little bit, we might see a full reset here.
Yeah, we definitely could, as well as we know that Lusty's the one with the bounce land. He's able to get this drop. He will be able to go all the way back to the main building, but Yokot's going to follow him there, meaning that he's going to run into the other survivors going for this reset. They need to rotate now. That's going to play into their plan. We see Ultra also setting up for potentially a body block here later in this chase, but Yokot is going to be able to get that first injure thanks to his own mind games. Now is going to opt to break this main building wall, meaning Lusty's going to get a lot of distance and going to get a potentiality to go away, meaning Yokot's now going to rotate on to Ultra. Nev in the meantime will get reset, but Yokot still needs another down, needs it fast. He has a lot of pressure right now, but if he's not able to capitalize on it, this can still be returned back to him. We're in the position where there's one generator left. One mistake, like you said, from the killer here would mean the survivors are going to be able to capitalize super heavily onto it, especially since none of them are on that death hook. Yokot really has no potential to snowball unless he's able to get it down right now, and it seems like Ultra returning towards this main building is the play for a body block potential. But no, it's not going to come through in time just yet. The down onto Ultra will come through. Nev is going to get on the box immediately, as well as the two other healthy survivors should be working on the generator. However, it's right next to the hook. And Angels was going in for the body block, so they're going to be far away too. Yokot is going to have a very, very big advantage here, especially if they're able to get the chase onto Angels. But I don't know if they found him just yet. Nev also going to be hiding nearby, potentially going for that save. And Lusty seems to just be trying to avoid the eyes of the Cenobite right here. Not really near any of the generators or the save. Angels seems to be in chase, but we have a phasing Cenobite thanks to that spectator bug. Thank you, behavior. But it seems he's back now. The chase will continue. He's going around the main building. He will get this chain. This should guarantee a hit, and Nev should be going for the save right now if they want to get Ultra off that hook.
Yeah, they have to get it done now, especially the second stage would be really bad for Ultra, but now the killer just coming in the right moment, able to interrupt the save at least a little bit. That's going to be just an exchange. So slowly the hook stages are now the ones that are increasing. The progress on the generator doesn't look that good. It's a fresh hook, however, that's good. You have 2 minutes of hang time, basically, if you would decide to sacrifice this survivor. This generator here, roughly around the 15 to 20%. So Cynic not really able to get the pressure down here. It is one of these games that really shows how tactical the game can be when a 3-gen is applied. It comes down to every single second and every single percentage for the killer or the survivors here. Yokarex doing a perfect job here, especially for the background, or with the context that he got only one stage for a long time in this game, not panicking at all, keeping it calm and collected, being able to establish his environment here at the gallows area, and now taking the profit from it. And now it also really comes in clutch that he removed so many pallets early on. That's really a punishing factor here for Team Cynic. Reset once again, but these resets are on paper the correct tactical choice. However, you see it right here, the perfect example. There is going to be a call of Brian helping him every single time. The resets are taking a long time, especially with the sloppy butcher. And I do feel like at this point they should know about the Scorchhook Pain Resonance here. Angels taking the next injury here. I believe this guy was 50, 60 times injured this match, and we are reaching a very difficult and crucial moment now, because there is a moment in every game like this where the teams are getting a little bit tired and the concentration is dropping, and it is the question who's dropping the concentration first. I don't think Yokarex is going to do it, because I believe his teammates also in VC are going to boost him, and they are like, look at what you are achieving here. You get hook stage after hook stage, and we are close to the next down here as well. So I feel like Suffer is taking over, and we might just see it being done on 4 generators once again here, because even this generator being doubled will very likely not get tripled, but it won't be enough, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough either. All three of them will separate. We'll see Nev trying to go in for the save. However, the hook's right next to where the generator is, and Yokot is immediately going to head over there. Lusty and Angels both injured as well. If Yokot's able to get it down right here, it could be huge. Nev will get the save onto Ultra immediately. However, now Ultra's a target. Now there's another potential for a down, and really Yokot just has to play in between the two groups. He knows one's on the right, one's on the left, and he can play in the middle of them. But no, instead of playing around the gen, and he's going to try and get some pressure, but ooh, a little bit of a missed hook placement there. That means that he's now going to have to go back to this generator. That's going to waste a little bit of time. However, like you said, Colubrine is going to be a very big factor. If Yokot decides to kick it, I don't think he has just yet, meaning that Colubrine is not going to be on that gen, meaning that gen's not going to be starting to regress, meaning that there still is potential for these survivors to come back and get the save. I think Yokot's getting a little bit too aggressive on potentially, challenging these resets, and I think that might play against them if Ultra's able to have a good chase. But like you said before, the fact that there's so many pallets removed means that Yokot's going to have some very, very quick chases. Nev was able to work on that generator as well. That's going to get a little bit more progress thanks to him. Ultra working on the box, ooh, but he is going to be interrupted just by Yokot's presence. Yokot didn't even have to go over there for him. Instead, now he's just going to be harassing him with those box notifications as Yokot finally will return back to this generator. Will he kick it though? That's the question. He really needs to. Nev is getting a little bit of progress every couple of seconds that he's over here. Yokot should be able to get the 4-man injury, but no, misses that chain, meaning that now Nev still can harass this generator for as long as Yokot is over here.
Yeah, this is now slowly going to turn into the side of Suffer here. We do have the percentages still rising in these generators, but there's not this one critical moment where Cynic is really able to put a lot of pressure down. It's always a little bit. Sometimes the sum of a little bit can be enough, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Next kick here onto the generator, 2.5% instantly, and then Colubrine coming in clutch here. That's going to be a nice chain application as well, and this flashlight is not going to help a lot here, besides from giving Ultra a few meters of distance because of the M1, but he still seems to be in the area touching the gen. That's just going to be an immediate re-kick as well. Ultra has to settle at the main building, find someone to reset. Same for the survivor that has been working on the Gallows generator here. I would love to take a sneak peek on the voice chat of Cynic right now, because I would love to hear what they are discussing. There must be the debate about being a little bit more aggressive at this point, because they must realize that their resets are a good decision, but they are not making up for the fact that Colubrine is able to take the percentages every single time. They're not getting forward, they're not getting the progress into these generators, they're not making any progress significantly here, so there will be a point where they eventually have to be a little bit more aggressive here. That's going to be next injury. 4 survivors injured once again. Will they all pull back, or will they potentially send someone over here? He is teleporting, however. 2 Angels that might be in a difficult spot here, especially when zoned towards the houses section. One is showing himself, one is in the shack. So a lot of chaos going on the side of Cynic, but nothing really with a good amount of pressure here.
Yeah, we saw that live being used by Nev being able to try and bait Yokot into that chase, meaning, again, gen pressure going to be applied to these generators in the back. They are slowly building up progress. However, Yokot can get it down on any one of these survivors because they are playing very, very risky right now. All 4 of them injured. Yokot with really no pallets that he needs to play around. Ultra should go down here if he's able to land this next chain. Not a lot to work with, and yep, he lands it. That means the down should definitely come through. There it is, and this is also going to be basement, also going to be in the 3-gen, or it could just be deeper into the 3-gen if Yokot wants to go for that too. However, I would say, yep, probably in the basement right here, because you're going to be able to get those injuries so fast onto the survivors who do come down here. Oh, never mind. That was death onto Ultra. Now it's a 3v1. That actually changes things even more. The death onto Ultra means that this is almost going to be impossible to break this 3-gen with the Colubrine. Yokot would need to severely try to overcommit to one of these survivors in order to lose this situation right now. I think we're just going to see the 4K at 1 remaining.
Yeah, this is now going to be a very, very hard task. I have to agree with you. Very likely we see 4 generators completed, and then the 4K here, except Yokot X might make a mistake here. But it is interesting also to see that the 3 Cenobite games to open up the winter circuit here seems to end on the same result here. So that's maybe something to analyze when we have more statistics of Cenobite in throughout the event here. Yokadex trying to find a survivor that is potentially still here, and he is right about that. Great game sense, telling him that Neff is still hiding around here, and that's going to be punished with an injury. 2 survivors healthy. Will they be able to put significant progress into the generators? It doesn't seem to be the case, especially with an unfortunate RNG skill checks when leaving this objective here. Call of Brian coming in once again. They are solving the box, and at this point it seems to start being a routine between Safa and Cynic here. Everything is well planned, but also shout out to both teams. Nobody is making a significant mistake here, because otherwise the game would have been already over. So it's a very close fight these teams are putting up here, but as you mentioned, it's a 3v1 now, and that's usually the crucial point, especially with the 3-gen being in play, that decides about victory or defeat.
Yeah, and that's really the question that you have to ask here is Cynic really able to make a comeback right now in this scenario where it is a 3v1? It's going to be so difficult thanks to Call of Brian. Call of Brian really makes it very, very hard for a 3-gen to be won by 3 survivors, since you don't really have the output really on those generators to get enough progress. And the amount of time it takes for a killer to really get a hit, it takes like what, 20 to 30 seconds for them to get an M1 on the back of a survivor, especially when there's no pallets around. It could be even faster. In those 20 to 30 seconds that you're working on that generator, you'll maybe get 5% extra progress that's not going to be removed by Call of Brian in the next 40 seconds after that first hit comes through, you know? So it's definitely a very, very hard game. You'd have to play perfectly for over 30 minutes, I think, to try and get that last generator done, and it doesn't seem like Cynic's going to be able to do that thanks to Yokadic's great ability to use the Sloppy Butcher to its greatest effect and find the resets thanks to the extra time that that's borrowed by that Sloppy Butcher.
Yeah, the Sloppy Butcher is really coming in clutch here. Often we are debating if it was really necessary, if it was the deciding factor in the end, these little bit of chunks in the heal time. But in this case here, he played his strategy with all the injuries, slowing them down that way. And I have to say, I was a little bit, I had a little bit of doubt into this strategy when I saw Cynic taking so many resets and being so good with it. But I have to correct myself. Yokadex proved me wrong. It was definitely the right way to approach this game here. And because he stood so calm and collected, wasn't forcing too much, he was able to use the Call of Brian while Sloppy Butcher was making sure that they are busy for a little bit longer. And this combination here, together with his strategy, really, really worked out. We have seen a lot of Call of Brian Sloppy combinations that didn't work out at all. There's always a third factor, and that is your personal playstyle with the kill and what you're able to make out of it. And Yokadex has served as a perfect example here of how you have to go against an organized team on a
down right now here is so bad.
This is now Neff going on hook as well. This guy was definitely hooked before. I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be the elimination already. They are hopping on the generator once again, but that's not going to be enough, and that's going to be second stage actually onto Neff here. So you could also guard the generator from here, and
all 3 survivors in the same area too.
Yeah, I was about to say, if they are not saving instantly, they might be in a difficult spot, but now all together behind the main building might also be tricky. So Yokadex just played very, very phenomenal here.
Yeah, but the survivors did a great job of splitting over their Angels now heading deeper into the 3-gen, as the other 2 should be going for their resets. However, Yoka is still in a great position, has the Call of Brian. These generators are getting progress. They are getting a decent amount on each of them, but as soon as that progress is built up, Yoka's just returning with that pain resonance, with that Call of Brian, and basically returning them back to 0 each. There's not a lot of time for the survivors to do anything about it as well, since Yoka can just sit in between these twos, wait for the resets that Sloppy Butcher is going to buy even more time, around I believe 18, 20 seconds, 24 seconds, something like that. I think for a 1-person reset, 24 seconds that's built up. That's going to be 200% regression per person for 24 seconds. That's going to be a lot of time saved up for Yokat, since each of these chases, each of these M1s really only comes at the cost of 20 seconds. So that's 8 seconds of extra aggression than you would get normally from one of these survivors. Now we're going to see Angels taking the chain and the down as well, since they are injured out in this dead zone. Another hook will come through. The other 2 survivors will get reset, and this isn't going to be a death. However, it should now be impossible since Yokot is just across from his 3-gen. And if this is pain resonance, ooh, it's not pain resonance, but still, he is very, very close to his 3-gen. And if he's able to get an injure on another one of these survivors, it's basically game over.
It is definitely the game over here. With 2 survivors, you might have the last option here to pull an end game play if you're hiding now. I don't see the generator happening, except this is going to be a very, very long chase. Good one with this stun here, proving a nice patience first, and then at the right moment punishing the killer for hesitating a little bit. But it is now also Angel still in the need of a rescue. Yokot X is just rotating back to catch the survivor that is potentially moving in, and that's going to be the injury onto Neff now. So we have multiple options here to eliminate a survivor from this trial. I believe Lusty at this point is the one that has been hooked once so far. We catch the next
Everyone's
survivor.
been hooked. Everyone's on death.
True, everyone is on death already, so it doesn't even matter. And applying the next sloppy butcher is just going to increase the reset time once again. Lusty, Angels, and Neff are the 3 standing survivors for Cynic here after Ultra has left the trials already. They are once again going for a reset here. On paper, a good decision, but not going to be the pressure you need in this situation. I think we can plan slowly, but confidently with 1 gen standing once again here. And I believe when I'm looking at the team motivation and the mindset, that SUF is going to come out really, really strong after we've been switching sides.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very, very, you know, Ultra, he's not in the game right now, but he was in the game for the majority of it. He's going to be very, very lethargic. A lot of time spent in the trial, a lot of time spent thinking. He's definitely going to be exhausted at this point in time, you know, unless his team's able to finish that last generator. He's definitely going to be in a disadvantage state, at least in the mental game. He's going to need to try and consolidate his efforts in this next game if he wants to win it out, because I think if we go to tiebreaker, I think SUF could potentially still win this.
Yeah, especially with the motivation.
They finished the last gen though!
They are actually getting it!
I didn't realize the progress!
Huge. Yeah, I
thought they were just committing to the death. I thought they were just both standing right there committing to the death. I didn't realize that the progress was that close. Nev and Lusty commit to that last generator, get it popped, and now Angels even has the opportunity to potentially go out and get an escape in this game.
Yeah, I have to. Maybe we were also a little bit too negative on them here, so we definitely did Cynic a little bit wrong.
That's the one gen that Yokot never checked in his 3-gen as well.
Yeah,
that's why we never knew the progress. He only really focused on the gallows and the
yeah, they made it so sneaky then, and they always made it look like they're coming from the other generators, right? There was never a survivor caught coming from the corner of the map, so they actually made it very, very sneaky here. I'm glad that we didn't saw it, so it's not on us that we didn't know about it. But what a phenomenal strategy here, making something cheeky and making something just secretly. And this is now a lot though, because 5 generators means you have an escape that opens up all the possibilities for your killer player. With a no way out, something like this is still in your inventory here. Angels going down, but this last generator, after I believe we are close to the 30-minute mark for this trial here in particular, so it has been an intense fight, and both teams I believe need a little break after this, but SUF is still going to be in a good position here, even though they now need to have an escape here. But it still does something with Team Cynic. You're getting this last generator done after such a long fight is still giving you a good amount of confidence and telling you this is something we can achieve and we can make it happen. So I guess it's Ultra going to be on the killer side once again, and I think he's definitely going to take this 5th generator with him.
Yeah, that's really the question though, because we saw how Cynic came back after the first trial and how they were able to play really, really solid. If SUF is able to do the same, this could be huge. We saw SUF was lacking a little bit in the early game with Yokot. Got a lot of generators done before even the first gen, but Yokot, is he gonna give the hatch? This would also be a huge swing if he does give it to him. It seems like Angels doesn't even want to accept it, and so no, we won't see the hatch escape. But if that hatch did go through, that would have been such a big point swing too. That would have been, I think, a huge throw from Yokot if he did give him that hatch, because I do think Ultra definitely has the potential to get a 4K at 4 generators and could even still get the tie once again in this trial at 5 generators. So definitely not what you want to see. You definitely don't want to escape there from Angels there, but we'll see how SUF is able to respond to this on the survivor side. after a quick cut.
Welcome back, everybody. We are still here because we still need to decide who's going to come out as the winner of set number 2. On the Dead Dog Saloon with this Cenobite, and Ultra instantly spots the first survivor right there. Does he have a beautiful 3-gen? Let's check that first. No, he doesn't. It won't be another 35-minute trial here. But of course, that's going to be a disadvantage for Ultra here, not being able to protect such a strong area. But the box is instantly coming through, and we can see that Cannell's generator seems to be a very focused area for Team Suffer. He's going around the shack, tries to get the first one, and Waxats is not really paying attention, so that's going to be a big injury, and Shack Pallet being gone as well. So that's a dream start for Ultra here, who needs to achieve 4K with 1 generator remaining.
Yeah, and this is definitely a great start for that. We find the Obsession, however, we do have that save the best for last coming through once again from Ultra here. He is going to potentially get the first hit now onto the Nia, meaning that he will only need 1 more later. So only having 1 stack right now and losing it isn't that big of a deal. Now we'll see, however, that the chain will come through. This should be the hit. There shouldn't be much to play around here in this area. However, we have to keep in mind how many safe pallets are in this area. Ultra already getting rid of 2 is definitely a great thing for him if he wants to be able to keep the pressure on this area. However, now we'll see the Nia running towards the main building. Will they be able to make this window? Which seems like it should be free for them. The chain will come through, but the question is, will it be enough for them to get the hit? Because a body block was nearby, but whoa, just barely. Ultra will be able to get around him. I believe that was the reset for the body block as well too, committing a lot of time for that body block that didn't actually succeed. We'll see now that the hit will come through on Whack, and we'll have to return now back towards we see another generator. I believe that's going to be the David being found out here on this side of the map, but Ultra not going to commit to that chase, instead just going to go for the hook as fast as possible. We see Yokat in the distance on the gallows, about to complete that generator. If that was pain resonance, however, it will be interrupted a little bit soon right now.
Yeah, the interruption is going to be huge here, and Ultra seems to play aggressive. He wants to make sure that the survivors are under pressure from the get-go. You can't really give them space on the generators here because you need 1 remaining for a win here. Back towards the water tower now. Chain reapplied on an injured survivor, and that's going to be a quick down for Ultra as well. This is exactly what you need. This is exactly what you need in this trial, and this is so beautiful for Team Cynic. However, Suffer is punishing it with 1 generator so far, taking a reset as well. So they are holding against it. Body block coming in too late. That means one survivor hasn't been on a generator here. That might be punished. Yokat is now solving the box there, but if Ultra is continuing this speed, that's going to be insane.
This should be a guaranteed hit at this pallet. There's nothing really that we can see that David doing, but he's doing a great job at wasting Ultra's time. In the meantime, it still will result in a hit, but a lot of time wasted that otherwise would have been immediately gained from Ultra. So now we'll have to return back to the main building after a great play from the David. Yokat in the distance going to be working on that box, and we should see the Nia coming in for the save. Ultra knows that as well too, so he's going to look back for that survivor. Since he doesn't find him, he's going to continue the chase on the David. However, David is in such a safe spot, and missing that chain is actually going to be huge for the survivors. Ultra needs to either confirm a second stage or convert this into a down onto another survivor. He has Whack right here. He's not going to go for the Obsession, obviously, because he wants to keep those save the best for last stack. So he's going to try and use his add-on to get rid of the BT, and now get a hit. Does he hit it? No! It's just barely a couple centimeters off. Ultra goes for the chain as well. However, that might have wasted him too much time. He swings to the pallet and misses once again. Wax is able to get the body block as well, but ooh, the Nia last second gets hit by a chain, and that allows Ultra to go around. Now going to be able to get the hit onto the Obsession as well. This is going to spread his pressure so much. 3 survivors injured, 1 on the hook out of those 3, and Yokat, the only one healthy, as well as I believe a pain resonance coming through right now, is going to mean that the survivors don't have a lot of gen pressure, and there's a lot of pressure onto Whack especially, and this could be a tunnel out very, very soon.
This could be indeed the tunnel out, and that would be insane here. 70% on the main building, but with 2 survivors being busy with that, Ultra might be able to at least chain 1 survivor to give them a difficult time, or at least cut some seconds off. He will try to climb up the stairs and reach the generator in time. If this generator doesn't get completed, that would be huge, and that seems to be... No, they are getting it! It's going to be the 3rd injury, but that was a very important generator to complete here. Otherwise, it would have been a huge time loss, but David is receiving the chains, and that's not going to be a safe space anywhere, so that's just going to be the down potential. This pallet is not safe
no,
at all. Oh, Ultra misses! Now this is going to punish him really, really soon. And another miss coming out. Ultra, keep yourself together, a stun. I was talking about how unsafe this pallet is, but he's forcing this into a fortress. Now, finally, the chain is coming through, but this was a huge time loss by Ultra. That was not necessary at all. We can tell that the long fight is affecting the players here. 4 stages, 3 generators to go, but it is now going to be much more difficult for Ultra.
Yeah, and this is going to be a fresh hook as well. I don't believe we see the no way out coming from Ultra in this set, so that means that these survivors, you know, you don't want to play around the potentiality for a tie, so no way out was not brought into this trial, meaning that a fresh hook isn't really what you want right now. You wanted to either find Nia or Whack, but committing to David does give them a lot of pressure in the sense that now the survivors are going to have to rotate around the ones that are in specific vulnerable positions like Nia, like Whack. It's going to be very, very difficult to them, and we see the down onto Nia as well. Thankfully though, or regretfully though, behavior had a bug, so we weren't able to see that chase, but I bet that a great mind game came out from Ultra.
Yeah, just I don't even know who I predict anymore as the way. Usually I do tend to kind of hint a little bit or have a good idea of who I expect to come out stronger, but in this game here it is absolutely impossible. Both teams are just fighting so hard for every single second and percentage, and now Ultra is already on the tail of the next survivor here. Yokarex is here. No, it's going to be Alan is heading over towards the water tower here. Nice play by him. You have to go back 30 seconds away from elimination. Getting that survivor out of the game would be so important. Meanwhile, Ultra just trying to take the chain onto the survivor, and it does work out really strong here. Now you can wait 20 seconds until the full elimination here. I do believe Ultra has time. Safa needs 3 more generators to go for the tie here. Once again, they need an escape to win. 2 more generators could be completed, and Ultra is still coming out stronger with Team Cynic here. It's so close together, 10 seconds away from elimination. Ultra actually already leaving the hook, playing a little bit risky here, but it is indeed going to be Leopolda dying in the distance there. So 3v1 on 3 generators. Good day. I think that's pointing towards Cynic now.
Yeah, it definitely is pointing towards Cynic. Even without a 3-gen, Ultra has an insane dominance on the map here right now. However, going for Yokot here I don't think is the correct play. Yokot's in a relatively safe part of the map right now, since we saw at the start that there were a lot of safe pallets, but Ultra's able to get the injury pretty fast. But on top of that, you also have the fact that Yokot would be a fresh hook, and that's not really who you want to go for right now, especially when they're not injured. Yokot was full health. If you want to go for a full health target, go for Whack. He's on his death hook. However, Ultra is still able to get this down pretty fast. That could mean good things for him in the future. Alan, not able to work on a generator this entire time, we have to keep in mind, because he's in the min status effect. We do see 1 generator pop, but that's the only one that Whack is working on. Alan should be doing something else, unless he was just committing to that generator for the last couple seconds of his min. But no, the min will come up now. We know that he has to be somewhere away from the generators, meaning no generators have progress right now. I think once Ultra sees that a box is getting worked on, he needs to teleport there. He's just waiting for Alan to try and hang himself in a corner right there, using his little eye view on and the chain to make sure he's not able really to go anywhere, trying to zone him away, and now finds Whack as well. This is exactly what you need as Ultra. Getting the down here is going to be so huge. We've already used a bunch of pallets in this side of the map. Whack has to return now towards the middle of the map, towards the hook, and Ultra definitely could get a kill onto Whack if Whack isn't careful or goes in for, honestly, Yokot could go in for a body block, but it's not going to be enough as Whack does go down. The box is found as well. The survivors are in such a bad position, as now we're going to be put into a 2v1 at 2 generators completed. You're going to need to get 2 done and a person out if you want to win this as Suffer.
Now going to be harder and harder here. You mentioned it, you are increasing the pressure, 2 survivors standing. You have to go for an end game play here. Something wild, something unexpected needs to happen. The survivors are splitting up here, one next to the main building, but the other one also already going down. So that's just leaving Alan here with all the responsibility, and now also going to give away the position here. I think Suffer accepts that they suffered enough on the Dead Dog Saloon. Ultra being very, very strong here, but that is not only on Ultra. Cynic as a whole played really, really strong here, but so did Suffer. I think this was one of the... I think this
that
was...
last gen in the last trial was so huge, I think, for Cynic.
Yeah.
Just like you're talking about how good Cynic played, especially as the Survivor team. That last generator is really what allowed them to come in here with a lot of energy. Like I said previously in that last match, if Ultra didn't have that last gen popped, I think he would have been really lethargic, having to play such a long game with his teammates, and then on killer immediately after. That last gen getting popped not only gave him a better win condition, but gave him his second win and was able to, you know, smooth it out here in this in-game, in this trial, with honestly a very dominant performance on the Cenobite with 2 generators remaining.
And I know, Good, you are around for a long time here in DBDLeague. I'm around for a long time at this point. Have we ever had a more intense qualifier game? Because this is a qualifier, right? It felt like a grand final.
Yeah, definitely did. Honestly, I think the only one that comes close was the one that we saw with Petroleum in the last Hollows League tournament. But other than that, this definitely had a very close game. And thankfully, however, this is going to be the end.